Punk ass Facebook cut me off. I was right in the middle of my groove, man. And I was answering a question. So what I was saying was, if you cumulatively have that $2,000 a month, that you put that $200 onto your debt line. And so that's going to go against your debt to income ratio, right? So if you have this cumulative of $2,000, $200 is going to go against your debt to income ratio. So if let me just back it up, because I was just talking in Facebook, podcast Facebook cut me off. But anyway, what I was saying was, someone asked, if you have collections, can you get qualified for a home loan? And I was saying yes. And I was saying, if your collections cumulatively equals above $2,000, then we have to use 10% of that and add it to your debt line. So you can still get a home loan provided your credit score is okay, but it may affect your debt to income ratio. How do you get past that? Well, you can call and you make arrangements with the collection agencies. So I have this all the time. So I have clients, they have, say $2,000 worth of debt. I'll say, call the collection agency and say, I want to make a payment arrangement. I only want to pay $50, or I want to pay $10 a month. I will pay you $10 a month until this is paid off, right? And so now that $200 that you had, that we had to add to your debt line, now you have something in writing saying, now I'm only going to pay $10 a month. And so now we're going to add the $10 to your debt line as opposed to $200. Does that make sense? So you absolutely can qualify for a loan with collections. That's not a problem at all. There were other questions. So let me see if I can go to the other live to see what the other questions, because there was like a lot of questions. So while I'm doing this, while I'm looking at Facebook, looking at this other one, you guys, if you have other questions, because it's like 22 questions on here, ask them to me. Somebody said, hello, Constance, I paid off all my credit cards. Should I close out the cards or leave them open? Do not. No, don't. No. Do not close your credit cards, please. And you may not have been on the live earlier, Joy. Do not, whatever you do not pay off do not close. You pay off your credit cards. Do not close your credit card accounts. Again, your credit cards are 30% of your credit profile. Okay. Now you having none, boom, you just deleted 30% of your good credit. Don't do it. Your lengthy credit, even if like maybe you've had a late or something like that on it in the past, whatever, it doesn't matter. Keep it anyway. Keep the balances low, because your credit score is going to rebound. But whatever you do, the worst thing you could do is close a credit card, because number one, you're going to lose that length, that credit length. You want to have that credit length. And number two, you're going to lose that revolving. So you're going to lose 15% plus 30%. So you're going to lose 45% of your credit score. So do not close your credit cards. Pay them off. Like I was saying, you even may want to just keep small balances on them every now and then to use them, because stimulation actually can help your credit score. But do not, by any means, close your credit cards ever. Okay? Kaija said, how should a credit card be used? Spending and making a payment. So credit cards, it depends. So I say, don't spend what you can't afford. Like if you can't afford that dress, don't buy it. If you don't got the money to pay for it, don't buy it. Use your credit, like if you have an emergency, of course, buy it. But only use it as if you can, if you have the means to pay it off. So it's also about being fiscally responsible, right? Don't buy anything that you can't afford, credit card or otherwise. That's how people get in immense debt. Okay, so how do I use it? Buy gas every now and then. Use it to stimulate your your credit score. If you have money in the bank and you just want to use it every now and then, like I have a Dillard's card, right? Barely use it, but when Dillard's had them shoe sales and they giving 15 or 20% extra off on the shoes because I have a Dillard's credit card, I'm using that puppy. And guess what? When I go home, I'm paying that puppy off because I'm not going to pay no interest on that credit card, right? So I'm using it so I can get the discount on the shoes, but I'm also paying it off. So I'm not buying more than what I can afford unless it's an emergency. So how do you use a credit card? Use it as you need, as you can, but don't use it if you can't afford it. If you can't afford it and you have an emergency, then it's great to have and you pay it off. Okay. She said, I don't understand what he was asking either. Okay. Let me see. More questions. How do people get such high credit limits? It all depends. How do people get such high credit limits? It depends on the credit history. You can ask for credit limits. You can ask for credit limit increases, but it really depends on the breadth of your credit. So, if you're responsible, like if you don't have any late payments, they'll ask you if you want more money. A lot of times, like we have credit cards, they're always asking us, you want a higher limit? Want a higher limit? Want a higher limit? Want a higher limit? I'd be like, no, 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 no. I don't need a higher limit. No, no, no. I mean, it just all depends. So you can ask for a higher limit, but they're going to look at your credit history. They may do a internal soft pull to see, has she been paying her other stuff on time? What has she been doing with that stuff? Is she being fiscally responsible? Then we'll give you more money. So that's how they get high limits. I heard at one time, and I don't know if they're still doing it, but Navy Credit Union, they were giving out $20,000, $30,000 stuff to everybody. So, you go to Navy Credit Union and you need to have somebody who was in the military in your family or something like that. And they were giving out really high limit credit cards. But don't get that unless you're going to, don't get a $20,000 credit. I don't have a I don't want, you know what? Before I filed bankruptcy, I had a $15,000 credit limit. And then I had a $7,500 credit card. And I think I was paying the $15,000 credit card. I think I was paying $600 a month for that. And the $7,500 credit card, I think I was paying $300 a month for that. And I just vowed that I would never do it again. But I think I have some $10,000 and $12,000 credit limits, but I don't use them like that. I don't use it if I cannot afford it. So every now and then again, I may be somewhere and I might use it, but I'm going to pay it off immediately. So if you can, everybody may not be able to do that, but if you can, just use it. Don't abuse it. That's all I got to say about that. And then auto home, you need to, okay. I'm just looking down the questions that were on the previous post because punk ass Facebook don't want me to be great. Do different, okay. So if you are interested in getting a soft pull, I can do a soft pull for you. Go to Qualify. Again, let me put it on here. Qualify with CFS.com. I'll get you, people in here. I'll give you a free credit pull of your credit score. It's an Experian. You only get one bureau. It's an Experian credit report. Send it over to you so you can kind of see where you are. Here's the thing: if you're monitoring your credit, say on Credit Karma, or any of these other platforms, they're great for monitoring your credit. They are not giving you accurate credit scores. So I just want to make sure you understand that you are getting a FACO and not a FICO. And what that means is they are actually using, I think Credit Karma might be using Vantage. Vantage is another credit reporting system that nobody uses. But FICO is that is who the lenders use. Okay. So now if you go to myfico.com, myfico.com, you can pay pretty handsomely for a credit report. I think it's like $56 for if you want all three from MyFICO, but you'll get accurate scores. However, make sure you are getting FICO 4, because there's FICO 8, which is a new one, but nobody's using FICO 8 yet. So the lender, so if you're going on there, you're like, oh shoot, my FICO 8, I got a 780. And then you go down to FICO 4 and it says, oh, I only got a 680. Even though FICO 8 is the newest FICO, the mortgage industry has not adopted FICO 8 yet. So they're still using FICO 4, I believe. And so FICO 4 is the mortgage one. That is going to be your FICO that the lenders see when they're qualifying you for a home. So myfico.com, you can pay $59 for it. I can do it for you for free. For me, it's a fee, but I'm willing to do that for you just to kind of give you an idea of what your true, and it's only Experian, what your true FICO score is. So it's myfico.com. And then Diana says, if close to the max limit, would raising a limit on a credit card be a loophole to help credit utilization? You already know it is, Diana. So what she was saying is, when we talk about maxing out your credit cards, that drains your credit score. Maxing out your credit cards or being over the limit, drains your credit score. But if you call and you ask for a credit increase, depending on what they increase it to, it reduces your utilization. You want to keep your utilization 30%, no more than 50% of the balance. So if you're at 30 to 50% of the balance, then it will actually increase your credit score because now your limit is higher. That makes sense. Jocelyn says, what's a good score to have in buying a house? Oh, that's a great question, Jocelyn. I love it. So a great score to have. So I can get you a home with a 580. I can get you a home with a 620. And I can get you a home with a 520 credit score, if it's really that serious. I just prefer not to, because I want to get you the best rate possible. So what happens when you come to Catalyst is you might have a 580, you might have a 620, and a lot of people, they don't care. They're like, okay, let me get her that 4.5% or that 5% interest rate. She want to get a house at 580. I know how to get your credit score up to a 640 like that. 640 is optimal. That's elite pricing for us. So you're at 580. I'm gonna tell you what to do. Do this, boom, 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 and we'll get your credit score up to get to the 640. Now, once we get you to the 640, now that maybe 5.25% rate that you were going to get at even 620 now goes to 3.5%. What does that do for you? That gives you more money to buy a house. So that'll increase your buying power by a certain percentage, a certain amount, or that will reduce your house payment. So I'd rather have my clients be in the best position possible. Now, I have had clients where, they had a 580 and they were like, Constance, I don't care. I got to move. My landlord's selling my house. So let's just get me in the house. We'll refinance later. Because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, you're at 590. No, she's at 590 something. You're at 590. Do this, boom, 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 boom. Your score will be 640 in no time. And she was like, I don't have that kind of time. What can you do with my 590? Which was basically the same race as a 580. So we got her in there. I think her rate was like 5.25%. This was last year. 6 months later, refinanced her. I think she's like 3.5%, 640 credit score. So that's the 640 credit score for us is elite pricing. But again, we can get you a credit score at 620. A home loan at 620 or 580. But I'd rather get you the best rate possible. I don't want to put you in anything that's going to have you struggling, or if we can get you something better, it just doesn't make any sense to. So we can help you out with that part. And the cool thing is that I train my agents to all look at deals like that. So as opposed to, some loan officers, they'll just be like, either we can't do it or we can, and you're going to get a higher rate. My agents are trained very differently. We want to look out for you and get you the best possible scenario. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to try to see what they can do to increase your score, to get you the best rate possible. So that's what we do. So thank you for asking that question, Jocelyn. Thank you. Danielle said, that's the thing. There's so many different scores. It is. So just know this. Credit Karma, no dice. Credit Sesame, Total Credit, all those places, don't worry about those. My FICO, you're going to pay a little bit more, but you're going to get a true FICO score. But I think it's FICO 4 that you need to be looking at for mortgage FICO scores, okay? So that's all you need to worry about. But don't be looking, I be having people, they come up in my office, popping their collar, skipping like my credit score 800, I'm good. Okay, where'd you pull your credit? Who pulled your credit last? Credit Karma. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking to myself, oh shoot. Then when I pulled a credit report, it's like a 620. And they were like, what? My credit score was 800, Credit Karma. And then I have to have the explanation. Listen, Credit Karma does not give you a real FICO score. So I'm sorry to inform you, you have a 620, but we can still help you. But they come in with a certain air about themselves because they think they got an 800 credit score, and then it ends up being less because Credit Karma is just simply not true. So I want to make sure that you're getting the right information. I'll just be clowning. So I love everybody. Kaja said, is there a certain amount of money you need saved in your account to purchase a house? Do they look at the length of time you have money saved? Ooh, that's a good question, guys. That's good. So yes, they want that money to be seasoned, called seasoning. So 2 or 3 months. So they want the money to be seasoned at least 2 or 3 months. So if you have mattress money, you need to have it sitting in the bank for a couple of months, because they're only going to ask you for 2 months worth of bank statements. So the money needs to be in there at least those 2 months. Okay. So if you have money, get in the bank right now, because they will not be able to use the money unless you can provide a string of where the money came from, a reasonable string. But what they don't want is money laundering, because there was a huge issue with money laundering to purchase homes. So they want it to be seasoned at least a couple of months before they will qualify you. So that is a great question, girl. Thank you. Good stuff. Danielle said, how do they count if there's multiple people going in on a house with varying scores? Ooh, boom. That's a great question too. So how do they count it? Well, they use the lowest credit score. They qualify you based upon the lowest credit score. So what does that mean? So say you, your mama, your sister, right? So you got a 700, your mama got a 620, your sister got a 780. Guess what they're going to qualify you based upon? 620. So if there's a husband and a wife, you have the husband with 700 credit score, the wife with 620 credit score. They're going to qualify you based upon the lowest of the two. It's always the lowest of the two. So some people will say, okay, my credit score is not that great. I'm gonna add my boyfriend on here, but he don't got a job, but he got better credit. I'm not gonna help you, boo. All you're doing is adding his debt, because we still have to qualify you based upon your lower credit score. Okay, so it's always based upon the lowest credit score in the bunch. That's how we qualify you. Okay. Was there any other? Oh, somebody said Joy. She said, I needed to leverage you to sell my house. I had a 620 to 660 credit score, and my lending company didn't approve me for a loan for a new house. So I'm renting for a year, but my credit score is already back to almost 700. Why you didn't call me, Joy? Why you didn't call me, Joy? Why you didn't call me, Joy? That's all I got to say. I don't know who you were using, but again, it's very common where you will have lenders that'll just say, "Yep, we can't help you." And that's the reason why I got back in the lending space. So just to give you some background, in 2004 I started doing lending, but then when the market shifted, they made it impossible to do loans. Like, they changed the criteria, and so I would send all my loans to a specific lending company. And I would send them, and she'd be like, oh, they got a 620. Oh, they got a 639. Oh, they got a 618, right? And I was like, all this money is on the table because I can get these people loans with a 580 credit score. All these people that I can't help because they need a minimum of a 640 credit score in order to help them. So not only was she turning them down, but she had no resources to help them get their credit scores up. And so what we do, that's why in-house is so important. That's why I train my agents in this way. It's so important that if we're looking at their credit score, even if they have, so say they have a 640 credit score, but we know we can get a better rate if they had a 700 credit score, and we know we can get them a 700 credit score relatively quickly. We're going to tell you what you need to do to get that 700 credit score. We want to get you the best rates possible. So if you had between a 620 and a 660, I would have said, okay, I can get you a loan, Joy. And if you're pressed to move right now, we'll go ahead and get you a loan, and we'll refinance you in 6 months when your credit score goes up. However, let's do this, and let's get you a 640 so I can get you a better rate, because that's more important to me. You know, your interest rate. Why is your interest rate important? Because it affects what you're paying, your monthly, and it affects what you can qualify for. Also, let me say this, because a lot of people are saying, well, if it's a recession, I'm going to wait till the recession happens and the housing market crashes. First of all, you ain't going to see another 2008 unless just everybody in the world loses their job. I mean, and I'm exaggerating, but the reason why you're not going to see another 2008 market crash is simply because we do not have those kind of loans anymore. We do not have those types of lending practices anymore. So in 2008, if you had breath in your body, you didn't have to see. You could have been blind and crippled and not have whatever. You didn't have to have a job. You didn't have to have nothing, breath in your body, and you can get a loan. We can get you a stated income loan. You have to put no money down, and you say, I'm a janitor. I make $10,000 a month, and you get a $400,000 or $500,000 loan. That's what was happening between 2002 and 2006, 2007. Everybody was getting a loan, right? People who weren't qualified for loans. They were also getting interest-only loans, adjustable rate mortgages. They were getting negative amortization loans. So they were getting put in these horrible, horrible, horrible loans that were set to adjust. And what happened was the market wasn't ready. And so another thing that they were doing, because I was in real estate at this time, is they were appraisers were inflating properties. So there was a lot of appraisers. So this is how it was. I call you up. I need $450,000 for this property. Yeah, I can't get you $450,000. Okay, thank you. Next, I need $450,000 for this property. Can you give me this $350 you're gonna get for this appraisal? Okay, $450,000 done. Right? So they were inflating these properties, and then some people, and I thank God that I never got involved in that. Some people were actually even getting cash back. So say the house was really worth $400,000, the seller only wanted $400,000. They would inflate the housing prices to $450,000. The seller would then give the buyer $50,000 back to buy the house. So they would just buy it just to get $50,000. People were buying 2 and 3 and 4 houses, getting this cash back method, pocketing the money, and letting the houses go into foreclosure. Okay, so we don't have that type of market. You are getting fixed rates, you're getting, FHA, and you're getting low interest rates. So here's what I say: if you can afford it, buy it. Who cares? The market always adjusts, and the market may adjust a little bit. It might go down a little bit, and that's okay. If you can afford it, buy it. Okay, so don't worry about the housing prices going down. But here's another thing to consider. If say the housing market did go down, say it crashed, say it went down $50,000, $100,000, I don't know, on a house, same house, but the interest rates went up. So now you just went from a 3.5% interest rate. Now you went to, say, a 5% interest rate. Yes, you pay lower on that house, but overall, the interest that you pay on that house, you're going to pay more for that house in the end than if you purchase today. Does that make sense? So if you buy it say you buy a $300,000 house with a 3.5% interest rate, and then that market crashes, you bought a $250,000 house with a 5% interest rate. If it's amortized over a 30-year period, you're going to pay more for that $250,000 house. So all the people talking about, I'm gonna wait, I ain't ready to buy yet, I'm gonna wait until the market crashes. First of all, you ain't gonna see a 2008 again. But if it does go down, it's going to be totally different, and you're going to end up paying for more if the interest rates increase. So all the people that think they smart, I'm gonna wait. But here's the thing: if you can afford it, even with multifamily properties, you get a multifamily property, you get a low interest rate. Guess what happens when if the recession hits and people start losing their jobs and they start losing their houses? They don't stop needing a place to stay. So if you get a multifamily property now that you can afford, if people start to lose their houses, they're gonna need to rent from you. So think about that as well. So there's so many strategies, all that waiting and all that stuff, you're thinking you're being smart and you're not being smart. You need to start getting into the investment game right now. So I'm gonna whoop you, Joy. Don't do it again. When you're ready to buy, holla at me. Kai just said one more question, I think. How much should be saved? So if you are getting an FHA loan, all depends. If you're getting FHA loan, Kaija, it's 3.5% of your of the purchase price. So say you buy a $300,000 house, that's $9,500 down. Okay, so $300,000 house, that's 3.5% of that. If you are a veteran, and veterans have the best bomb.com loans, I love them. A lot of people don't like VA loans or veteran loans because they require more. They require that the house has a termite clearance. Not a bad idea. They require that the house is in a certain condition. Not a bad idea at all. But VA loans, if anybody's a veteran that's viewing right now, for your veterans, the rates are even lower. So I just did a refinance for a veteran friend of mine, VA client of mine. I think she was at 4.25. I just refinanced her at 3%. I did a streamlined Earl VA refinance for her at 3%. Bomb. 3%. No PMI, and when you're buying a VA home, there's no PMI, no down payment, and you're coming in with nothing. Now check this out. Let me give you a tip. If you're a VA buyer, say you're a veteran and you want to buy a multi-unit. I had a client that bought not even a year ago, bought a fourplex. Fourplex for 300,000, somewhere around 300,000. Bought a fourplex VA, no money out of pocket. Okay, his payment was $1,800 a month, fourplex. But the rent, because it was out in Fresno, the rent he was getting was $4,000. He was getting $1,000 off of each unit. Came in with no money down. He was making, his cash flow was $4,000. His mortgage payment is only $1,800. So he got in $1,200 a month cash flow every month. Didn't have to put no money down. So for VA buyers, you especially have like really good opportunities, especially if you're going into the multi-unit space. I would definitely go into the multifamily properties because the benefits much outweigh any risk on for anyone, but especially for VA. Joy, you said you're kicking yourself, don't do it again. She said, oh, now do I have another question? Okay, both of my sons are active military. What do they need? They need a certificate of eligibility. DD-214. They need a certificate of eligibility, and they need a little bit of income. And if they're disabled, if they're disabled vet, we can actually gross up their income. So if they have non-taxable income, so say they get income from the VA and they don't take taxes out of it. So say they get $2,000 a month, non-taxable, right? We get to actually say, we actually add 15% on top of that. So 15% on $2,000, that's $250. So now that $2,000 just became $2,250. It just allows them to qualify for more. So again, there's just benefits to being a vet or any person who has non-taxable income. So say, what else? Who else has non-taxable income? I think like foster care, if you're on permanent disability, any type of income. Oh, if you're retired, any type of income that's non-taxable that you're not getting taxed on is, you were able to add to that, 15 to 25% back into that, which allows you to qualify for more. So that's pretty dope. A lot of good stuff out there. But you just have to, you have to ask the questions. You got to ask Constance, hashtag ask Constance. So I've been talking a mighty, mighty long time. And I want to make sure that I've answered all the questions. You guys have had some fantastically awesome questions. I don't know if you're still on, if all you guys are still on, but Ty McLean, what's up? Andre, Taylor Wilson, Ursula O'Neill, Kaija, Joy, Peter, Brandy, Diana, Viola, Ruth, Dewana, April, Takia, Deborah Anderson, Danielle Torno, Lavon Baker. Oh, that's my cousin Elwin. Leslie, all you guys, Kenneth, Ken Gray. Oh, Dr. Boyce Watkins. What do I owe the honor for Dr. Boyce Watkins to be on my live? Trenton, Draka, Bishop Oscar Days. Hey, Bishop, I ain't heard from you in a minute. Adrian, Chris Hardy, Sherelle, Ruby, Lawana, Karen, Erica, all you guys, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today. And if you have any other questions, just hit me in there again. I can do a soft pull for you. More than welcome to, no cost to you, and it'll give you your Experian credit report specifically to you. And I'll give you some advice on what you can do to increase your score for absolutely free. So it's not something that you have to pay for. But this is my gift to you, my Facebook friends. All right. And I'm getting ready to get up out of here. I did a training with my team at 6 o'clock. Then I came on here like 7:30. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And if you had, again, my book, Keeping Score, What You Need to Know to Make Your Credit Score Grow, not $1 million worth of game for $9.99. And then The Secret to Breaking the Broke Code. Who's that fine girl right there? Pick it up on Amazon. Constance Carter. I'm out. Peace.